What's up, everybody? Welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be reacting to a video by the YouTuber named Jamari. His video is titled, How Bobbi Althoff Lost Her Entire Audience in 1 Year. Link to the full video would be in the description, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it does help me with the algorithm and all that stuff. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
So it has been quite a long time since we last checked in on Bobbi Althoff. Around a year and a half ago, I actually declared her the biggest industry plant I had ever witnessed hit the podcast scene.
Hi guys, welcome to the Really Good Podcast with your host Bobbi Althoff.
Basically, this woman came out of nowhere and had some huge guests like Drake, Mark Cuban, and other celebrities on her show that she dubbed the Really Good Podcast.
I think my mom named me after a lawyer, which always kind of like rubbed me.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy, considering what's going on right now. Drake being named after a lawyer, and he is suing for defamation, essentially. He's suing his record label, if you guys don't know, UMG, for pretty much pushing the Not Like Us record, which claims that he's a PDF file, and he's like at war with his record label, saying that they're purposely pushing that so they can diminish his value because he's in contract negotiations.
Within a week of the Drake interview, Bobbi was being represented by one of the top talent agencies and getting mainstream publicity. For this reason, people began to call her an industry plant because the only content that she had made online before this was essentially a spoof of mommy blogger TikTok content, where she did garner millions of followers, mainly moms all around the country who liked her sarcastic brand of humor.
There is nothing more embarrassing than walking around with one of these. Everyone knows how it got there. They know what you did.
She claims that she parlayed this TikTok career into another career in podcasting after she offered her followers $300 if they could get a celebrity to come onto her podcast.
It was like a finder's fee, right? You said if you can get a celebrity, I will pay you $300.
Yeah.
She says that this offer led to the episode with Funny Marco, which would in turn lead to her being in bed with Drake. You can picture her to be like the slightly more successful Hawk Tuah girl. To me, their careers actually draw a lot of parallels to each other, but one had to tell the world her methods for sucking dudes off before she got thrown into the belly of the industry.
I don't think I would consider their career parallel to each other. I think with Bobbi, she actually put in some work. With the Hawk Tuah girl, I don't really know what she did, but apparently her podcast was highly rated. And the funny thing is, the Hawk Tuah girl, nobody knows where she is right now after the whole crypto scam. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the same because actually maybe it is the same. The only difference is maybe Bobbi had a longer run, and yeah, that might be it, to be fair.
Matrix. You know, they both had that type of lightning in a bottle rise to fame that left onlookers saying, damn, this world is getting really up. But to be fair to Bobbi, she does seem a lot more intelligent than Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah. Hawk Tuah. Hawk Tuah. Say it aggressive, like
Hawk
really.
Whatever happened to that chick, by the way?
Anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I guess she's still asleep. And with Bobbi having such an astronomical rise to fame in such a short period of time, and the fact that most people felt like she was directly biting her entire deadpan comedic style from Funny Marco himself, she started to get a lot of ridicule online. I don't think it helped that she missed her son's birthday party to be there in bed with Drake that day.
You know?
I flew all the way here
You did. I really do appreciate
on my daughter's
that.
first birthday.
I wasn't.
Yo, that's crazy. Missing your daughter's first birthday, her first birthday ever, to be in bed with Drake. Is slightly diabolical. It's reprehensible. It's not a good look. I can understand on one hand that this is a big opportunity for you, but your daughter's first birthday is a big milestone as well, right? But, you know, maybe she felt like, yo, doing this is just going to set up a daughter in the future. So I can kind of see the reasoning, but the priorities are not there, in my opinion.
Bring that up.
Mm-hmm.
You missed your daughter's first birthday for
To be here.
Dark. Regret that you'll never be able to undo.
Yeah.
Horrible parenting.
Something
that's
people
crazy.
thought was a joke at first, as it was her brand to be dry and sarcastic, but now it's been revealed that she was being totally serious. The other thing was, when she was doing these interviews, she would constantly be making passes at these men, asking them if they would sleep with her, or if she was their type.
Am I your type?
I'd do it.
Thank you. Would you date someone that looks like me?
Something that is not only strange to do as an interviewer, but also it got even more wild when people found out that she was still married. Strangely enough, the dude would actually file for divorce the very same month the Drake podcast came out, which led to quite a bit of speculation online.
I'd do it.
There was some speculations that she, had some relations with Drake while she was married, and I don't blame the husband. Now, I wouldn't advise for divorce, but if your wife is out here portraying herself to be a thought, at that point your hands are tied. You can't really do much because, you're supposed to be my wife, but you asking all these rappers if they would wanna date you, and if we know how rappers are, they really smash anything moving. So just the perception alone does not paint her in a good light. And she has kids and she has a husband. So we can't say, oh yeah, the husband should just get with the program. It's all part of her bit. Clearly the husband was not with it. So he filed for divorce, which is a very rare thing to do for a guy to file for divorce. And now she's a single mother with 2 kids and unmarried.
One thing I will say is that she was way ahead of her time when it came to the Drake mistreatment, deleting their interview right after it started going viral, and hating at his concert.
I think this was a bit. I don't think she was actually hating on this concert, to be fair.
But after a while, the sarcastic, too cool to care bit really got old, and she even got put in her place by rapper Offset, who let her know that she wasn't all that.
You wanted to be on my podcast.
Why you keep saying that, that shit, man? I honestly didn't even want to do this shit. I don't fucking do interviews. You already told me you looked me up. I'm walking out on bullshit. I'm fucking with you because they're making me.
As a matter of fact, he cooked the hell out of her.
You need a little bit of seasoning.
Oof.
You ain't got no seasoning, man. You like a plain piece of chicken just on the thing. You pull it off, and then you serve the dish. You need some motherfucking seasoning.
So the thing that I realized in this interview? Bobbi don't understand that black people, we roast as if it's just living life. We roast. So if you're trying to go back and forth, you should be well equipped in the education and the philosophy of roasting, because if you can't, you're going to get eaten alive to the point that you are going to start questioning your life and you might want to go cry in the car. And that's what Offset did to her. He roasted her. It wasn't even really that bad of a roast, but I feel like he just pointed out things to her to make her self-reflect on her whole life. Crazy work.
Man.
You can leave now.
This is my hotel. I paid for this motherfucker. You can leave now.
And then she changed up her whole look, and she went on a show with Keke Palmer, and right there she got accused of being an industry plant right to her face.
I know.
You're not an industry plant, right?
I am, but...
You do feel kind of planty. We do have the same manager, so is this
I know, isn't that
planted?
crazy?
Feels a bit planty.
This is definitely planty.
You got here in 5 minutes. It took me 20 years.
Hey, it has been a minute.
What I think industry plan is, it's like somebody that has been that is tied to someone else in the industry and uses those connections to capitalize, and they have zero talent.
I'm not an anythinger. I don't have any talents.
And then people started to say that she was trying to manufacture moments. She had Ryan Garcia chasing her around the room like they were on the playground.
Bro, you run fast, man. Relax.
He would later tweet out that they had this intimate situation after that was recorded, and she continued with this reputation that she was kind of being bounced around the industry.
You got some close-ups?
I like to read people's messages, not get room tours.
Let me read your messages.
No. I don't like messages.
I'll let you read one message if you let me read one message.
I delete all of my messages.
Liar.
Are you cleaning? I do. You don't? You keep your
I
messages?
delete my messages?
Yeah, you keep yours?
People that delete their messages are cheaters. I'm not a liar or a cheater. I hate liars.
And I feel like relevancy-wise, she kind of just came and went, and honestly, Hawk Tuah kind of took her spot online.
I wouldn't say she became irrelevant. I think she just cultivated a core fan base, because I think her page is still doing decent. So I don't think she's like irrelevant. I just think she's not as viral as possible. When she was manufacturing those viral moments with like Ryan Garcia and NLE Chopper and all of those things, I think that's when her virality was pretty much dwindling and she had to grasp at anything that she could possibly do. And at that point, people just didn't care. So now I think she's just probably doing her own thing, trying to build her following with the people who stuck by her through the viral moments and everything. And she's just trying to capitalize on those people, which is essentially what usually happens with somebody who comes in the spotlight with fire and they've, cooled down a little bit. There are going to be people that's left to sticking with the person. So what you have to do as a creator or anybody is to just capitalize on those people who stick with you and cultivate them as a core audience. That's essentially what you need to do. So it's not like the worst thing that you're not as viral or in the spotlight. Now you just focus on what you got to focus on and build a long-lasting career. Simple.
Nowadays, Bobbi's channel and TikTok are mainly inactive, and the last couple of podcasts only garnered a small percentage of what she was averaging only a year ago. And I actually put myself through absolute agony by watching over an hour of Bobbi being interviewed by Forbes and Wired magazine. Bobbi Althoff, the deadpan podcast host America can't get enough of. Wow, a whopping 10k views. America just can't get enough. Obviously, her publicist got her this opportunity, as a lot of celebrities and online talent alike do this type of thing, so they can still try and seem relevant to their sponsors and other people kind of pouring money into their careers. In these interviews, I actually did learn a lot about Bobbi for the good and the bad, and after listening to her come up story actually doesn't sound that outrageous to me.
For a few years before I was on TikTok, just doing brand deals posting.
But she is honestly just not very likable. Coming up, she claims that she was posting 5 to 10 TikToks per day for years, where she routinely raked in millions of views, followers, and hundreds of thousands of dollars per year.
But my goal for the first year of once I started getting views and getting followers was that every single day I had to have one video that I posted that got 1 million views. So I would keep trying and trying and trying.
Now, using the Wayback Machine, I can see that her numbers do pretty much align with her story, but I do still think that after the Drake podcast, they really tried to make her this big thing, and it just kind of burnt out and then fell flat on its face for the same reason that industry plants in the music sector never stay hot.
The thing that's crazy is I don't know how she feels at this point with all the things she's done, all the methods she's used to become famous. And in the process, she's lost her marriage, right? Essentially, she has a broken family. She doesn't have a husband. She's a single mother, a divorced wife. Kids have to do visitation. We can draw a conclusion that it's based off of her actions in the quest of her to get famous. So the price of fame cost her family. I wonder now if she's doing some self-reflection to understand if it was worth it or not. Maybe she still thinks it was worth it because it's provided her kids more than she could have anticipated. It could have been something like she's still proud of and doesn't regret. It looks like her recent videos were getting like 60k views, 50. It's not terrible. I don't get that. So it's not terrible. Like I said, just got to cultivate those people and build more organic followers.
Because the fans they garner are so incredibly generic and fickle that they would just move on to the next trend like nothing. And one thing I did find very interesting in these interviews was the insistence that she has always been driven by wanting to be famous.
I've always wanted to act or have some type of leg in Hollywood, kind of. So
See, I didn't even know that, and I just gave that host a soliloquy with the price of fame costing her a family. So if that's pretty much what her mindset was, then she probably doesn't regret what happened through the course of her gaining that notoriety, because that's always been her goal. If you have tunnel vision for a goal and it doesn't matter what cost it is, you wouldn't feel regret till years when you're completely irrelevant. So she might be delusional enough to still think that she's still popping. So the regret might not even set in yet. Not that she has to feel regret, but there has to be some self-reflection done at some point.
I felt, my family always says that if anybody in our family was going to end up where I ended up, it would be me, because I was the most driven towards that.
And even more by wanting to be rich.
How'd you become an influencer or creator?
Just wanting to make money.
She even says that the only reason she did podcasting and TikTok in the first place was because she saw how much money other people made doing it and got motivated.
Okay, let's not single her out for that being the motivating factor for wanting to do those things. A lot of people go into content because they want to make money. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I know we're nitpicking because she's not likable, but let's be honest. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. People do stuff to make money. It's just what it is. Some people don't have the love for the craft. They just do it because they're good at it and they make money. They got a family to support, you know?
Mentally decided that she made like at least 300 a year on her podcast alone. And I was like, that's what I need to do next. Like, I need a podcast.
And for someone who loves money so much, she seems incredibly lazy about her job. Multiple times she brags about the fact that she goes into her podcast doing little to zero research on her guest that day.
And what is your interviewing technique?
Just no research, show up, and ask questions. I was researching how he interviews people, and I was like, oh God, this is a lot of work. Let me just go in there and know nothing. It's a lot of work. It's so much work.
And keep it.
Now, let's be honest. She has branded herself as an awkward person. Not doing research on your guest fits the bill of being an awkward person. So I think that probably played more to her favor than not. Now, some of her guests probably got offended, but I think the fact that she didn't know much about her guests or anything at all, I think that was a bonus because let's think about it. Most of her guests that go on other podcasts or other interviews, they ask them questions. They pretty much regurgitate the same questions, all the interviewers, to that guest. So don't you think it's like almost like a breath of fresh air if she goes to a podcast where the person doesn't know anything about you and they're just asking you questions like they just met you? And in the process being awkward, if that's her shtick, everything works. She had a new strategy. She found a strategy of not doing a lot of work, but reaping a lot of benefits. Tell me what world that somebody wouldn't want to sign up for that. You don't have to put all the manpower, but you get all the benefits? What are you talking about? Like, come on, sign me up. Where I got to sign up, you know? Okay, I'm going to end it right there. If you want to watch the full video, link in the description. My final thoughts on this is, I think with every creator, especially if that creator blows up quick, the faster you blow up on a specific thing you do, the faster people get tired of it. Because if something is viral, they don't want to see that same thing like over and over again. They want to see something different. So I think on her quest now, in gaining this A-list status she's trying to attain, what she needs to focus on is reinventing herself. This whole dry humor and awkward shtick doesn't work anymore. Nobody cares. She needs to find something else. She probably should lay off the interview thing. She might just need to do more collabs or something like that. And maybe she'll be all right. But let me know what you guys thought about the video. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.